In today's video, I'm going to talk about the 7 tips to stay consistent with your manifestation practice. This is a question I received, I think 4 times, at least 4 times on Instagram in the past 7 days. So I thought I'd give you 7 tips to stay consistent. And before getting started, my name is Julia, I'm a manifestation coach, and here on this YouTube channel I talk about all things manifestation, including inner work. It's a very deep approach. I talk about healing as well. I consider it to be very important. It was very important on my path, and it keeps helping me to stabilize and to just be happy in my life without having to suppress anything. So that's what I'm teaching on here. And if you're looking for support on your journey, check out the links in the comments below. And now without further ado, let's jump into today's video. I have my notes here. I started making notes. Maybe I should stop mentioning that. That's the 3rd time I mention it. But I keep being happy about it. So if I'm looking down, you know what I'm doing. Tip number 1. Let's dive directly into it. Tip number 1. I suggest that you stay connected to your why. Your why is the why of your manifestation. So your motivation, your reason why you're doing this is so important. When you're manifesting, you don't just, want to focus on random things. Obviously, you want to manifest something that's important to you. And when you are connected to the reason why it's important to you, then it's going to fuel your energy, it's going to fuel your motivation, and it's going to help you stay on track when those unpleasant emotions come up, which almost inevitably happens when you're manifesting anything that is important to us. Otherwise, if we wouldn't have any blockages, then we would just already have it in our physical experience. You probably wouldn't be watching that video. There's no shame around having a block, or there's no problem with that. It's all internal and we can dissolve it, but it's important for you to stay connected to your why, so you actually have that motivation to reflect on those blocks when they come up, so you can overcome or dissolve them, or both. So tip number 1, stay connected and remember your why as you are going about your practice and your manifestation. Tip number 2, be playful and have fun. I think it can be easy for many people to get super serious about their manifestation, and you don't have to be super serious about it. Your manifestation should evoke feelings of excitement within you, and your manifestation practice shouldn't feel too serious. Yes, there are those parts where it can get a little serious, or it can get very serious when certain unpleasant emotions are coming up, but I'm referring to your day-to-day practice. It shouldn't feel like a chore all the time. It shouldn't feel like I have to do this, but it should feel like I want to do this. This feels exciting, and I am designing a practice for myself that feels fun. So tip number 2, be playful about how you're designing your manifestation practice. Have fun with it, and don't be all too serious about that. Tip number 3, focus on your internal shifts instead of just focusing on the 3D. What happens for many people, for many of us, is that we can start to think that we need to change something out there, and when we try to do that, then it can feel like it's getting really difficult and serious, and I don't want to do this. It's not working. Yeah, it's not working because you're focusing on the wrong thing. You cannot manipulate and try to shift the 3D because it's not working that way. I mean, you can try and you will get some results, but it's probably not going to be the lasting fulfillment that you desire. So instead of manipulating the 3D, go within, focus on those internal shifts. That's also how you can keep it more light and playful and way less complicated and dramatic. Tip number 4. Remember that you're whole and that nothing is missing. When you are connected to your wholeness, your practice will flow more naturally, You will know what to practice, when to practice. It will feel easier for you. It will feel easier for you to stay consistent because you're connected with yourself and you're not coming from a place of lack. What happens for many people, and I think I've said it 3 times now in this video, but what happens for many people, it is like this, is that we can tend to think that something's missing and I need to achieve something out there. And that kind of ties into the last tip that I shared with the 3D results. Yeah, so when you feel like something is missing, you're not in your wholeness, then it can again feel like a chore because you feel like you have to achieve something out there when this is not the case. You will only be really good at manifesting when you already start to feel complete. I'm good, I'm in the wish fulfilled, and I'm doing my practice and I'm enjoying it. That's how you should go about it. When you're doing it in this way, when you're coming from your inner wholeness, things are going to feel much easier for you and it's going to be much easier to stay on track. Tip number 5, practice daily. Now, I posted this on Instagram and I wanted to say and allow yourself to take breaks. But ideally, you know that there's this saying that design a life or live a life that you don't need vacation from. Same with your manifestation practice. Design your manifestation practice in a way that you want to do it daily. Of course, it's okay to take breaks, but for example, if you practice every day for 5 hours, but you don't like that, but you force yourself to do it, then you're going to burn out pretty soon and you're gonna need a break quickly. And maybe you will not even feel the motivation to return to your practice. But if you design a practice that feels good to you, that feels inspiring, that you like, that you enjoy, then you will likely want to do it daily. So design a practice that feels good to you personally, not something that you're copying from somebody else. You can take inspiration, but design something that feels good to you, that is in alignment with how you want to practice, and then do that daily. Because if you do it daily, it's much easier for you to stay on track and to so it's easier to stay on track because when you are not doing it daily, then it's much easier for your mind to kind of get off track and start to find excuses because, you know, I don't have to practice daily, so I might as well take another day off and another day off and another day off. Instead, form that habit, practice daily to an extent that feels good to you. And that tip with the daily practice, it's a suggestion. Again, you do you. You don't have to do what I say. But I think it's a way to keep yourself on track that can really build great momentum. Tip number 6, examine your limiting beliefs. What can really get us out of our practice and break our routine is when we are still buying into the old story too much. Limiting beliefs, old story, old programming, your old self-concept, your fears, your doubts, your pain are all things that can be very difficult and painful. But if you are having an approach of a master manifestor, you're going to look at them, you're going to face them, and you're going to examine them like a pro, and you're not going to be afraid of them, or at least you're going to be afraid, but you're going to do it anyway. And if you examine the old story, the chance is much higher that when it comes up, when those excuses come up and your subconscious mind is trying to hold you back, it's trying to hold you back into that old self-concept, you're going to be aware, you're going to see it, and you're going to say, I'm not buying into this. Maybe it doesn't feel good, but I'm not buying into it. I'm going to keep believing in myself. And last but not least, tip number 7. Get support if you feel stuck, burnt out, or overwhelmed. If you feel like it's all getting too much, you're not moving forward, you're not seeing any progress, any movement at all, and you just feel like nothing is working, then maybe you want to get some support. Find an accountability partner, find a coach, find a therapist, whatever it is that you need. Do a course. Find a book that keeps you on track. Although I really think if you have a person that can keep you accountable and help you find those blind spots, at times that might be necessary depending on where you are at in your journey. I don't say it's necessary, you can do it by yourself. All I'm saying is that if you really want to stay consistent and you're currently really struggling, consider getting some support on your journey, because somebody really sharing their energy with you and sharing their insights with you, if it's the right person, if it's a trusted person that is very aware, that can save you a lot of time and a lot of energy. All right, those were the 7 tips to help you stay consistent with your manifestation practice. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. And I say thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.